Welcome everybody to the Immersive Arts Twitch stream. We are talking today about Conquest. The Conquest Games Convention is one of the most, important and old and fabulous games conventions in Australia. Immersive Arts Melbourne are a group of LARP writers and event managers who want to help more LARPs happen. We love the LARP medium. Mostly we talk about weekenders, but Conquest is one of the great, boiling pots, the great existences for freeform as an art form, and for freeform overall, and also great tabletops. Anyway, let's introduce Purple Darima, also known as Lisa, one of the Conquest organisers. Tell us about yourself and a little bit of your LARP history, please.
Okay, so I've been LARPing since 2012 was when I started. Started attending Caligo Monday was sort of the first place that I started for learning what this role-playing thing is. I didn't do very much by way of tabletop stuff before that. I know a lot of people have. Sort of the ongoing scenarios is sort of where I started there. I started attending the role-playing conventions, both ArcanaCon and Conquest, around 2014, and then decided that I ought to help make them happen not terribly long after that. I've been an organizer of the Conquest Convention since 2017, and I've sort of been the person who's in charge of organizing all of the games that run at the conventions, getting everybody lined up, making sure that we've got plenty of content for all of our attendees to come and play. That's sort of regular tabletop games, around 5 players each, miniatures, wargaming, card and board games, as well as my personal favourite, which is the Australian freeforms, which are your 3-hour single scenario. Most of the time everybody gets given a character and you go.
Awesome. Fantastic. To my right, Neva, introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Hi. I'm Geneva. And I fucking love LARP. I got into it a couple of years ago through starting to play the Medusa RPG games. And then through that, I met David and Josiah, who made Dance of Ribbons. And I thought, you guys seem cool. I bet you make a good game. And they did. Right. And so, yeah. I was an NPC for all 3 years of that. And then through that, I met Caligo Monday people and started going there. And then everyone at Caligo Monday said, oh, there's this thing called Fenner, Phenomenon Con, which is kind of like Conquest's Canberra alter ego. Sort of. It's the equivalent.
Yeah.
And went there and absolutely fell in love with convention freeform LARP. I think it genuinely might be my favorite form of the art form. So, and then I went to Conquest and I loved it.
Fantastic. And Daz is here. Hello, Daz. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name's Daz. My pronouns are he, him. I started out in tabletop gaming. I was the president of the Tabletop Gaming Society at the University of Melbourne for 4 years. And that ended up leading me through to Conquest. There was a targeted volunteer post like 3 days before the con, and I went, I'm not doing anything over Easter. So I went around to help out, and partway through, people found out this piece of information and went, great, you sound like a perfect vice president. And so at the AGM, like 4 weeks, Lisa, that's exactly what happened. Don't look at me like that.
That is classic.
You dared to turn up and be competent. I'm sorry.
It's what happens. Absolutely.
Yeah, so since then, that first year I only went for 2 days. I only played. That would have been 2022.
Okay, fantastic.
And so since then, I've been doing the volunteer coordination and social media planning and stuff like that, and running Thirsty Sword Lesbians at the con itself and also at PAX.
We have discussed that I will be forcing you to run any sorts of thirsty sort of lesbians at some point. But
Fine by me. Oh, but the LARP part of that is kind of a background in mega games,
right.
and participating in those with Melbourne Mega Games, and then obviously jumping in at Conquest into as many free forms as I have the time for.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gramtash, for the follow. Thank you, Gramtash, for supporting That's What Happened. We appreciate that. Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your LARP background?
Oh, I'm Sam, also go by Plague online.
Yeah.
I started tabletop stuff in 2012 in high school and have not stopped playing since. I started doing LARP at the very first Dance of Ribbons about 3 years ago now, and through that I made some wonderful friends who introduced me to Caligo, but our other friends introduced me to doing like tabletop games at cons.
Yeah.
And I started with the Trial by Fire about 3 years ago of PAX, just jumping into one of the hugest ones I could think of. And it went amazing, and so yeah, I just kept doing it ever since.
That's fantastic. I'm Josie. I have been LARPing for a really long time. I was mildly shocked when Lisa said that hers was 2012, because I'm sure I remember you in 2002 doing Conquest and Arcanicon way back then. It is an old convention, and kind of important worldwide in terms of the history. How much do you guys know about Conquest history?
You sort of get to hear some of the stories.
Yeah.
And like, it's sort of the second oldest convention that there sort of is for long-running conventions in Melbourne. The oldest one was Arcanicon by a couple of years, but since it's sort of stopped doing that now, Conquest is definitely the longest running, starting in sort of the late 80s.
Arcanicon has a weird monster blob.
Sid the Arcanosaur, yes.
Yeah.
And we have Emily.
Emily is the name of the mascot. Okay. Emily is sitting on the dice at the lower left of your screen. Welcome, Age of Adventure. Good to see you. I need to be louder? Okay. Sorry. Every time I do any of these streams, there is some sort of weird tech issue. And I can never predict what it's going to be. Hopefully that will fix it. Yeah, so let's talk a bit about that idea of the LARP history. What do we know about Conquest history? I think you're the best one to answer this, Lisa. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you know about history of Conquest?
Sure. So I know that Conquest started in very much the late 80s. I think there were a lot of events going on around that time, and sort of the first couple of years that Conquest happened, it was not called that. The very first year that the same group did an event, then the next year decided to call it Conquest. These were the old style conventions where it was predominantly Dungeons and Dragons, and you got quite a lot of people going to those conventions. You talking sort of hundreds upon hundreds, more than 1,000 people coming to these conventions at the time. Everybody getting their physical booklets that had all of the write-ups of the games in it, and the centre section where you would fill out which games you wanted to play, and you'd mail that in with your check to do the sign-ups in the original years. I'm so glad that I don't need to organise that sort of thing now.
Yeah,
cool.
I turned up later than the Czech era, but when I did start going to Conquest, it was you book yourself in with a phone call or an email, and you could do it via phone call for the people who didn't have email yet. And
That would have
then,
been, what, late 90s, thereabouts?
Yeah, late 90s. Like 99, I think, was my first Conquest. 2000? No, 99 was my first Conquest. And also my first Arcanicon. But yeah, you would turn up and just pay on the door in cash because, like, credit cards were for businesses and this was chaos instead. Or you would pay with a money order or check. But also is that this is where Australian freeforms and Australian LARP was really born. We have weekenders that were a bit separate to that. But one of the big important parts of Australian immersive theatre is, and Australian LARP, is the freeform scene. And Conquest has always been extremely important to that, except for, like, I don't know, 10 years between, I don't know, 2000 and, well, maybe less than 10, but between 2015 to 2020, it sort of died out a bit. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, there were some issues, I know, around the time I started attending the conventions, where just the people who were in charge didn't necessarily know the best way to handle it and the best way to schedule them.
Yeah.
And that was also around the time that we started having issues with venues.
Yeah.
Which did not help.
No, absolutely.
But I know the first couple of conventions I went to, there were a couple of LARPs I signed up for that I didn't get to play because there were 2 LARPs that were scheduled for the same session and there weren't enough players for both of them to run.
Yeah. And that happened a lot.
Things like that.
Yeah. Welcome, Pigglek. Thank you for joining us. We are going to... Okay. So, Conquest has really punched back since COVID. Like the last 2022, 23, 3, 4, 5. It's sort of been like, okay, we're going to do this again, right?
Sort of had a bit of a reinvention around 2019.
Yeah. Please tell us. I
don't know.
I was not there for it. Tell me.
I don't know if it was exactly like all intention, but that's sort of, we had a bit of a old guard deciding that they'd had enough and left, and then new guard taking over, and then a couple of years around the 2017 to 2019 we're sort of figuring out what to do. Weirdly, it aligns with when we got our current artist to do Emily. Just sort of that's kind of where we sort of started finding our stride again. And we're sort of the team that we have now is sort of built up from the same core members that were in the team then.
Yeah.
Whereby we've sort of started figuring out alternative venues. Back in the day, obviously, the best venue options, which is still what Fenno does in Canberra, is running the convention out of schools, out of high schools and universities, whereby you've got a big area that you can have for the bigger games and signing up and everything, dedicated space for freeforms, and then 1 classroom per tabletop game. And that's an amazing way to be able to play games at a convention.
That's been the format since. That was the format in 2001, 2002, when I was playing.
Yeah, and it wasn't the first few years when I was playing as well.
Yeah.
But sort of around the time when the classrooms started having computers in them, schools stopped letting people
letting the randos
hire rooms. Yes. Yeah. So that's sort of around the same time that Arcanicon sort of stopped, and there needed to be a very much big shuffle on what sort of venues were accessible, how to even use a big hall as a venue. And thankfully, our teams sort of managed to get over that hurdle and sort of figure out how to do what it is we want to do while compromising as little as possible on the things that we loved about the older conventions.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Lisa. Apologies for losing the video for a minute. I'm not sure why that happened. I blame myself. Anyway, let's talk about what's on this year. Daz.
Hi.
Which game do you think is the most interesting? What are you the most psyched for this year? Just pick one. It's the best one. It's the most important one. If Daz does not say your name at this time, he hates you.
No pressure.
It's not true. I pinky swear. The Devil Is Due by Aaron Fenwick sounds the most interesting to me. I love a murder mystery. I absolutely adore a murder mystery. Personally, it's absolutely my favorite.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm just gonna work out how to get this onto.
Yeah.
Oh,
I also need to.
I just worked out why
and
my
I'm watching
videos
the cameras go out.
Okay. How's that?
I think we're back.
Yeah, no, it's because whenever I try and work out how to do anything, I fuck something up. So, let's try this again. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, we have lost the video because we have instead put on The Devil Is Due. Okay, tell us about The Devil Is Due.
Okay, I know nothing except for what's here. It sounds really interesting to me. I love a murder mystery. I'm absolutely someone with piles of murder mystery books in my house. I find them really interesting. With Neve last year, I played in a amazing circus themed murder mystery, which was absolutely amazing. I find them a really good setup. They're a lot of fun. Particularly the setting for this one I find quite interesting. That kind of gritty noir. It seems like everybody's got this multi-layered, really intricate backstory. It just sounds super, super interesting. Particularly... the content warnings are there as a warning. I think of them as a list of fun things that players are going to have to manage and deal with. And they sound pretty interesting to me. Dramatic improv in particular.
That's an interesting thing to have as a contact warning. Neva?
I remember some things that happened in our one last year that absolutely... I understand where that's come from. Really excited for it, though. It seems like a lot of fun.
What do you reckon? Murder mystery as a LARP?
Oh my god! I also played the Circus Murder Mystery last year, and it was it's in my memory forever. It was such a good game. Like
that game is called Catch Me I'm Falling.
Yes.
One of Travis's back catalogue.
Travis. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it was amazing. It was so well written and. Looking at this because I haven't actually looked at the program yet because I'm not sure when it was released.
They put it up.
I'm coming in a bit
yesterday, day before.
This was fun. I love the opportunity to play a noir detective and be real silly with that kind of a language, and it looks like you can do that and also be generally very silly. But also serious. It says serious on the serious side. I like a serious game.
I also
I really like a serious game. Yeah. Sorry.
No. I think one of my favorite things that conventions do, and I've seen it with the Arcanicon registration and the Conquest registration way back in the day, was always that they would have that. System. What's the system? How much do you need to know the system? How serious is the game? What's the rating? And these have happened forever. Like, long before anyone else was doing... Like, when Weekenders were still doing, surprise, your friends will try and kill you randomly. The freeform scene was like, no, we're going to tell you what the system and the seriousness and all of that are. And including these content warnings quite early. I
like a game with...
Oh. Okay, we'll go Neva, then Plague. And then Lisa.
I like a game with the... It's kind of, as Daz was saying, like, those content warnings there as kind of themes that you end up having to grapple with. I feel like that's a real strength of the convention games that makes me really, really love playing them, is how you can... There's basically no room for subtlety when you have only 3 hours. So you take what's on your sheet and you go hard with it. And I think it's quite interesting to do that with themes that you might not always get to play that out in real life. Like it's the setting of pretend play, which I really think is pretty compelling. Yeah. But I think you get to do it in some of these more serious games, which is really fun, and explore that anything that happens to come up with other people. And I really found that in Catch Me As You're Falling as well. Awesome. Catch Me I'm Falling? Yeah.
Plague.
I didn't get to go to Conquest last year, unfortunately, but I do have a special place in my heart for murder mysteries. It is always, I especially always love like the red herrings.
Yes.
And like the twist. I love it when like it's not immediately dangled in front of you, like obvious. I need to think a little bit if I'm going to be doing a murder mystery, you know?
Yeah.
Especially at like a LARP setting. I want to blame every single one of my friends before we get to the real killer.
Right? I think that was the single best thing about lockdown was the rise of the online murder mystery.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sorry. Lisa.
Yeah, I was just going to say that sort of the last thing that you want to do, where you've got 25 people being thrown into a game, you want everybody who's there to want to be there.
Yes.
You're going to have a much better time with the game if everybody has a rough idea of what they're getting themselves in for. So, like, they know how far to dig.
There's nothing worse than trying to enjoy a LARP that you've signed up for because you're super excited for the concept, just for like people around you who didn't know what the concept were to just not be interested and almost bring down the energy because they are like disengaged from what's happening.
Because they weren't, and I think that's a communication issue, but also like a sign-up issue. What do we think?
That's exactly why we have those ratings and things, so that people can know the shape of the game before they go in and play.
Look,
similarly...
Yeah, no, you go.
Similarly, like, I mean, I looked at it and I was like, ooh, fun noir mystery, hooray! And then I looked at seriousness rating and I was like, oh, deep, dramatic noir mystery. It changes the entire tone of what you would... Because, I mean, similar to what Plague just said, if you're that person who shows up to a LARP and you're like, oh, I thought this was something completely different, you're like, oh, no.
Right?
So, yeah, you don't want it from either angle.
Yeah, I've certainly found in the past I've walked into a freeform and it has been something entirely different from what I was expecting, and then I've really struggled to be the person who tries to bring their all, but it isn't super engaged in the material, and that can be really difficult.
It's
still trying to be a good sport.
Yeah.
Because I find the best freeform LARPs that I've done. Every character has to be their own main character, so everyone has to be connected to everything else. And the best part in those is when you get to the end of, in this case, 3 hours, and you haven't done everything. You're going, no, I need five more minutes. I just need to have one more conversation, and I just need to do this one more thing. Yeah. Those are, in my opinion, always the best ones.
Look, there's a lot to love about them. There's a lot in them, though. You get in what you get out what you put in to a degree, and those are
100%.
really good ones, right? Fantastic. Neva, you hadn't seen these before, so that's okay. Sam, Plague, have you seen these before?
No.
No.
I haven't.
We're going to go through them all together.
I've been way too busy to look.
Before we go through all of them, Lisa, is there one that you want to pick out as like your one that you're like, oh, we need to make sure we talk about this?
Okay, so here's the part where I need to explain to you that I am extremely biased.
No, we know. Like, Travis literally came and brought you food a minute ago.
Yes.
Like,
so
we're going to scroll through and find the Travis and be like, yeah, no, this is the one Lisa wants.
Okay, well, what everyone needs to understand is that I am extremely biased when it comes to these games, but it is for the betterment of everyone involved.
Look, he's a good writer.
I have gone to a lot of trouble to bring free forms back from the brink of extinction at Melbourne conventions, specifically 100%. So I can play Travis's back catalogue of games.
That's really sweet.
This is the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of positive side effects to this. I regret nothing. This also means getting to play a bunch of the older games from a lot of the other writers from back in the day.
Yeah.
Fee's running one of her back catalogue games this year. Random is running one of not a back catalogue one so much, but something that's been run at a different convention at Fenno actually.
Yeah.
And we tend to get a couple of these ones whereby they're either a rewrite of an older game or they have inspired a new game to be written.
Yeah.
And we're gradually shifting from just a bunch of older games to mixing that up with newer ones that are coming in as well. But yeah, absolutely. This year, my purpose of making sure the convention happens is so that I can play Travis's The Trial of Lucifer.
The Trial of Lucifer. Okay.
Yes.
There's a lot of thus in here.
It's the one right at the bottom.
It's looking fun.
Where the games start with I skip when I'm alphabetizing them.
Yeah. Okay. I have been told by people who are smarter than me that they prefer looking at faces to looking at descriptions. So, Lisa, will you please... Actually, Neva, will you please read us the description for The Trial of Lucifer?
I would love to do a dramatic reading. Thank
Please
you, Josie.
do.
You know me so well.
I do.
Okay.
You're
The
next,
Trial
Blake.
of Lucifer.
And then you, Daz.
By many names he has been known. Satan, the adversary. Samael, poison angel. The serpent. Lucifer, the light giver. To all he has been known, and to none. Deceiver. Before creation, he rose in rebellion. A third part of heaven at his command. In the garden, he lifted the fruit to Eve's lips. On earth, he stands against humanity. At the end of all, he rises from the abyss to devour the world. Right? At last, he is bound in the hands of his brothers. At the word of his creator, he is held. His is accused and accursed. When all is done, the debts of his crimes will be paid. The time of judgment is at hand. Prisoner. When evil is judged, will justice be done? A freeform for 24 assorted angels, demons, mortals, and others by Travis Hall. It is on Friday at 4 p.m. You don't have to have any system knowledge. It is MA 15, and there are mentions of domestic abuse, drug use, and sex. And it is a 5 out of 6 on the serious side.
Very metal. First
Sounds
reactions,
awesome.
Daz?
Sounds fun.
Oh, I think that this one sounds amazing. I think it sounds absolutely fantastic. This would not be one for me just because I think digging into that is not something I'm personally super interested in. Because I do enough of that in my own time, really. But I think the people who do this one are going to have an amazing... And they're probably going to walk out of it. I imagine I'll see the people walking out of it, like, at kind of the end of Friday, and I'll know who played this game. I get a very big sense that I will see the people walking out, and I will look at their faces and go, no, I know what you've just come out of.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's going to be a really intense one, and that is the best thing possible, in my opinion.
Play.
I mean, remembering Travis's game from last year, it was very much that. But the thing that I really liked about that, and that's the...
Hang on. Blake's turn, then Neva.
Oh, sorry.
This one, I love religious themes in my LARP, especially when it comes to, like, the more, like, darker side of things. And I do love a serious LARP, I think. This one, if I have, like, I don't know when I'll be doing my things, but if I can...
I have the power to control it.
Hey, Lisa!
The only reason I read them is because Lisa asked... The only reason I've read them is Lisa had asked me, so I get it.
No, that's so fair. This looks like fun, honestly. I love even in just the description, the, like, whispering you know, thematic. Yeah, deceiver, sitter. Yeah, I'm into it. I love it. I think it'd be really cool.
Neva. Now it's your turn.
I've ADHD'd out of remembering what I was saying.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Walking
No,
out of
sorry,
Travis's
it's okay. I
It was
jumped
walking
in.
out the intensity of walking out of Travis's LARP last year.
Oh, yeah, no, so the thing that I really appreciated, it's the first time I've done one of Travis's games was last year. But I know that just kind of from having spoken to Travis in general, and then also from the way he was describing things in the debrief at the end of Catch Me I'm Falling, that he often likes to write like quite deep themes. Like he writes the characters around themes a lot of the time, and I quite enjoyed that. So like my character, the main kind of trifecta that he had running in Catch Me I'm Falling was like the 3 sides of masculinity, and it was like 2 different types of toxic masculinity, and then genuinely productive, nice masculinity. And I was like the epitome of toxic masculinity was the character I was playing, and it was a very intense but very fun, like interesting time. But so I'm looking forward to kind of, I'm hoping I get in to play that game, because I would love to see what is the idea that he is trying to make his characters explore this time. Sounds similarly intense.
Right? Like, I don't know. I have played some of Travis's games over the years, and he's very fucking good at it. Like, yeah, like, it's amazing. Alright, so, we talked about a couple of them. Let's have a look. I'm really excited about Be the Change You Wish to See. Mostly because old mate Nikki's running it, and I am
This is
all
Nikki's
like,
first go at running a freeform.
yeah.
So we're all very excited
And
to see
you're welcome, because
how
it's
that
my
goes.
fault that Nikki gets to run free. No, that's not true. I will take all the credit off Nikki, and for me, no. I'm being silly, but I'm really proud of them, because I don't know, a year or 2 ago, Nikki was not willing to think about being somebody who ran LARPs, and now they are, and that's awesome. And so they're writing a kick-ass pirate, merfolk, selkies, sea folk game on Saturday midday. And it looks really fucking cool. Just about grief and death and gambling. And I'm like, it's delightful. It sounds really cool. Go.
Does someone want to read it out?
Yeah, it's Blake's turn. Dramatic reading. Let's go.
Okay. Let me just clear my dinner from my throat. Apologies.
Oh, no.
Be the change you wish to see. See written as in like the ocean sea. It is beginner friendly. Sit down, you scattered sea folk, listen as the spirits sing of the world that was. Of green hills, sandy shores, now swallowed by the rolling waves. Of great cities of old, starting with the wondrous Atlantis, drowned long ago. Nearly all of the land has sunk beneath the sea, and those who survive have been confined to ships, living as adventurous pirates, transformed into merfolk to remain among their sunken ruins, or are born anew into an old world as easygoing selkies. Fortunately, some have started to dream. In their dreams is a prophecy of a new world about to hatch from the spirits of old. The chosen dreamers can change this world, and it can change them. Pirates, merfolk, and selkies alike journey forth to the last remaining island in the world to gamble with the sea spirit for a chance at shaping the future itself. The change you wish to see is a game of gambling and diplomacy. Bring your dice, bring your dreams, and try not to let the sea swallow you whole. It is 5 to 14 players at Saturday, 12:30 p.m. You don't need any knowledge of the system.
Because there isn't one.
And it's a 2 out of 6 on the seriousness scale. Moderate, but on a less serious side.
That was very
I love pirates.
Shakespearean. That was.
Thank you.
It was.
I was like,
it
I gotta do a
delightful.
dramatic reading of it.
It was. Yeah, I mean, there's dramatic and there's Elizabethan.
It felt like it needed it.
It was pretty great.
Agreed.
I love that there are 3 types of people. There are pirates, merfolk, and selkies. Those are the 3 people. There are no.
Yep.
Responses. Where are we at? What are we thinking about Be the Change?
This was my number 2. This was absolutely my number 2. Grief is one of my favorite themes. I find grief to be such an individual experience that encountering grief through a character who may encounter it differently from you, or having to interact with other people's grief in certain ways, really interesting. This is very much giving, to me, like Davy Jones from Davy Jones's Ship from the Pirates of the Caribbean, where they play the dice game for souls. I love a good bit of gambling. I love gambling for souls. I love gambling your life, like not in the reality, but in like the game sense of gambling your life away. I find that so I find that so deeply interesting, and I love pirates. I have been running a Thirsty Sword Lesbians long-term campaign that is pirates, and for all of its failures and broadnesses.
Okay.
Pirates is absolutely something that I find completely fascinating as a subversion of like existing as an inherent subversion of society. Yeah. And so combining that with grief, with whatever interpretations of merfolk and selfies, but they're inherently quite interesting to me. And so this is absolutely my number 2, hands down. I'm really excited for this one as well.
Delightful. Lisa?
I'm really interested to see how this one ends up going. The whole idea of having a freeform game that can run from 5 to 14 players is pretty much unheard of.
Isn't it?
So to have
I did not notice that.
range, there's no way that we're going to get to see how that goes because it's going to fill up immediately.
No, it will be immediately 14. But it's interesting that's written that it would work with 5, right? That's a really good point.
So I'm hoping to corner Nikki after the convention and just ask some questions about how that works and what the structure would be involved in making that happen. I'm very curious.
Do you reckon you'd be willing to do it here? Just have that conversation on this stream? Because that would be extremely strong as a LARP design question and discussion.
Well, I know that this is a game that Nikki's found and picked out specifically to run rather than writing it.
Yeah.
But I have to assume that they're going to have some good insight into how that is supposed to work. So
absolutely.
Up to them. If they're interested in chatting about it on stream, that'd be great.
I second that idea as like a stream about interesting ways of, because I know that there's another game that's running that I've done the playtest of, Spire: The Masks We Wear.
Yeah, we're going to talk that in a bit.
Yeah, and I know that one of the things that Will has tried to experiment with in that one is trying to make it replayable to some extent, or at least unpredictable a bit in terms of, by slightly divorcing some of the goals of the player from the actual character itself, like some of the character goals from the character sheet, and having a kind of slightly randomized within some parameters, like stuff.
Yeah,
so
to see what it looks like.
It's fascinating.
Run again and differently. Okay. One of the people who, when I started playing freeforms in Melbourne, when I started playing LARPs in Melbourne, one of the people who'd been doing it for a long time was Random Jones. And the next freeform we're going to talk about is called Broken Promises. It's by Random. Lisa, it's your turn to do a dramatic reading if you're up for it. If you're not, that's okay. We can pass it on.
Alright, that is fine.
More than
We
fine.
are.
The best possible thing.
Okay, Broken Promises by Random, beginner friendly. The feud between the two families had lasted hundreds of years, so long that the history books no longer recorded what had caused it. Both families insist the other's ancestors had insulted their ancestors in a manner most vile, and they would not let it rest until apology was given. And yet, all things must come to an end. It's been decreed that peace must reign in these lands, and to that end, marriage has been arranged between the son of one house and the daughter of the other. Finally, two great houses divided by enmity will be united in holy matrimony. Today is the day, most auspicious for such an occasion, when the vows will be made. But also, today is the day when both the bride and groom have disappeared. Loud voices on all sides throw accusations and threats, but peace, true peace, was the goal. Who would do such a thing to allow this horrible war to continue when both sides had made their oath that this was to be? Who is responsible for these broken promises? Broken Promises is a freeform for 27 important members of society locked in the Grand Hall while others search for traces of the missing dignitaries. And if some of or all of the important social aspects of such an occasion happen anyway, while in that Grand Hall. It is, after all, not often that people of such caliber have time on their hands. Setting is generic historical fantasy, so extravagant costuming of any historical period or fantasy setting is strongly encouraged. 24 to 27 players, Friday 12:30 p.m, no system knowledge required, rating of M, seriousness of moderate, leaning towards serious. And I need to talk to Random about the fact that there is totally a typo in the middle of this that neither of us caught.
That is always what happens. Amazing.
Okay, you've just discovered it in front of everyone.
In front of everyone.
fine.
All 23
Fine.
people in the Victorian LARP scene.
I'm sure I'll live.
We are a huge scene here. We are a huge platform that you're on the celebrity giant ratings numbers.
It's fun that...
Go.
Sorry.
No,
It's fun that we've gone from one where it's 5 to 14 to one where it's like, there is a 3-player range.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a much more traditional number.
It's much more typical. Yeah.
It's like, yes, this is a game written for 25 people. We can lose one if we have to. We can add one or two if we have to. Right?
That's what you want, though.
Go on.
You want all of the characters in the game to be important. You want everybody to have important things to do. And I've been part of discussions about numbers of players, how many characters are the correct number for a game, and it tends to be however many that game needs.
No, that's specific.
Because otherwise you've got
game is
people who have
written
less
for,
to
right?
do and feel less central to the plot.
Yeah, it's that balance between needs and can sustain, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I've played games where I've been someone who has connections with characters who are not being played, and it tends to be a lesser experience.
Yeah, similar boat before.
Tell us.
It's like, there are people I could go and talk to.
No one's playing
They're
that.
not here.
No one's playing that guy.
Cool. I'll keep my character secrets to myself.
Yeah, but I've also written games where I've written agent of government X. And I'm like, okay, so I can have 1 to 3 of this person, right? And they're agents of this government, or whatever. They're a bit less interesting than, Duke Diego Boyd. But you can do that, right? You can modify those things, or you can be like, you know, if you've played Werewolf, you can be like, oh yeah, Werewolf is, like, maybe you have an extra villager or not. I have a question around, it's a lunchtime, or it's a shortly after lunchtime game that encourages extremely extravagant costume. What do we...
I feel like that's not counterproductive. We just have to plan properly.
look legit.
This year, we have 10 sessions at Conquest.
Yes.
Every session that is not running at 9 a.m. has a free form running in it.
Right? Yeah.
That's a first. For me,
That's
certainly,
amazing,
ever since
actually.
I've been organising, and someone's got to go in the 12:30 p.m. slot. 3 people have to go on the 12:30 p.m. slot. Now, that's the Friday 12:30 p.m. So that's actually the first session of the con.
So this is the opening, right?
Yes.
This is the big cold open.
So I would hope that people would mostly turn up in costumes so that everybody can see.
Yeah, right. I love a costume. I have a friend who's coming down from Brisbane, and they were like, "Oh, do I need an extra suitcase for costumes?" And I was like, "Need technically no, but want."
But, yes.
But it could be cool.
But yes, you
Will
do.
vastly improve the experience. Yes.
Yeah. I love, like, it feels like that sort of blockbuster, like, proper big LARP, right? Like, it's, everyone dresses up, we do straight after a meal, we, like, have these intense, it's very Shakespearean, historical, 27 important members of society, star-crossed lovers, etc.
I did hear that that one ran for the first time at Fenno.
Yeah.
And I did hear good things about it.
And you would like to reveal those things on the stream?
No, I don't know anything more than that. I just make sure that, like, game ran. Was it good? Yes. Okay, we'll have it.
Yoink.
Yeah. I mean,
Pretty
Random
much,
doesn't really write bad freeforms. Or hasn't for decades. I did play one bad random freeform, sorry buddy. But that was a long time ago. And also, I think it was probably only bad for me. Anyway. I'm not here to bitch. Because, in fact, the dude is really good at it. And he has been doing it for a long time. He does not write bad freeforms. And this looks fantastic. Like, as far as, like, have everyone turn up in full historical fantasy and just go sick. Do you have photographers for this?
That'd be me.
Daz!
So on top of organising the volunteers and running at least 3 sessions and also, organising the con, part of my job, part of what I have made my job is going around. Lots of people will remember me from the con, politely interrupting their games and going, "Hey, is everyone okay if I take some photos?" And me and a couple of other people in the con org team put together a little schedule of how we get photos of every single game, including the LARPs.
But surely this is like the most photographic of games.
Yes. However, getting everyone in a room to actually take a good photo
Oh no, that's
that
not
isn't
possible.
horrifically those like really, really staged ones and you're like, nobody looks like they're having fun. Yeah. We try and avoid them, but it's difficult.
Most I don't think you can say that. We've got like the pirate game, which I didn't say it before because the conversation moved on before I could, but oh my god, dressing up as a pirate. Fuck yes. I love a pirate game. And then there's like all of them, like I'm so excited for the costume game this year, just kind of having scrolled down now, like, and there's
like
so
3 or
many
4
big
of
ball
them.
We have 2 different Regency games. One is traditional Regency, and one is Ridian's crazy nonsense.
Oh, that game is
Right at extreme
actually
prejudice.
great, though. Let's talk
There's also
about...
Cards and Convenience. Cards and Convenience
Yes,
is also
Let's
That's
talk
the other
about the
Regency
Cards
one,
and
yeah.
Convenience first. We'll get to Ridian's Genius later. Let's talk about Fee's Genius first. Of Cards and Convenience, Daz, it is your turn for extremely dramatic...
Fantastic. Amazing. So, of Cards and Convenience. July 25, 1810, London Gazette. Napoleon writes, nature intended women to be our slaves. They're our property, we're not theirs. They belong to us just as trees which bear fruit belong to the gardener. What a mad idea to demand equality for women. Women are nothing but machines for producing children. The suffragette movement is reportedly outraged. The gentleman of the road, the roguish highwayman who has been accosting unwary travellers for the prior 8 months, struck again some 4 nights ago, this time closer to London than ever before. The bounty for his capture has increased to a remarkable £200. We are pleased to announce that the momentum behind the Luddite movement is slowing with no further disruptions to industry since February. A fine of £50 for any ship's captains found to be engaging in slavery is being enforced by the naval attaché at all English ports as of this month. The Prince Regent has invited a select group of this season's debutantes to the garden party at Vauxhall this evening, surely one of the social highlights of the season. The wreckage of another vessel lost with all hands echoes demise of the Paragon along the Dover coast. Something must be done to stop the loss of trade goods and lives. Rumours of Catholic influence within the court has been grossly exaggerated. The Plimptons, formerly of St. Lucia, are pleased to announce that the debut of their eldest daughter into society. Word has it that the dark-skinned beauty will be in appearance along with many of the season's finest debutantes at the Priest Regent's party. Mary Agnes, have you finished helping Hortense with her toilet? It would not do to be late, you know. Damn it, man, do you take me for a greenhorn and a rum-co? I need that money tonight. My whole future depends on it. I can't let anyone find out. The scandal will see me cast out of Ton. Tonight, Prince George, Regent of England and the Empire, has invited 102 elegant personages of the Ton to join him in an evening of refined society to celebrate beauty of season. Of Cards and Convenience is a one-session Regency freeform of politics, money, betrayal, families, and mistaken identities for 22 players by Fee and Renee. Player capacity, as I said, 22. Sunday, 4 p.m, so this is the last game of the con.
Yes, it's the closer.
Rating is M for slavery, racism, murder, illicit affairs, and the seriousness is moderate, leaning towards serious.
This is extremely Bridgerton. Alright, Plague then, Neva.
Oh, yeah. I've not always been a fan of Regency stuff. I only have recently got into it with Bridgerton, actually. Unfortunately. But this does look fun. I love the way that it, like, the information is formatted to you as, like, newspaper, like, clippings. This feels very immersive, very, you know, the information of, like, the party is buried beneath, you know, 3 other of, you know, tone setting pieces of writing.
Tone setting, theme setting.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I think, you know, setting the tone and the vibes is really helpful, especially when, like, you can only give a certain amount of words to describe what your freeform is about.
Neva?
It's exactly what I was also wanting to say, was just how good of how much I love that summary, because it gives you the exact... It gives you an idea of what to expect when you pick up your character sheet and what's going on at the party, even if you don't pick up a character sheet that has that thing on it. You know it's going to be in there somewhere. Like, I don't know. It gives a really, really good vibe. Also, I'm so excited for this one. I've played a couple of games by Fee, and holy shit! Like
Right.
Fee game is the last game of the session of the convention. I'm like, oh, what an ending!
It's just like,
yeah.
I mean, it's 1999. You're going to Conquest. The best games are by Fee, Travis, and Random. It's 2010. You're going to Conquest. The best games are by Fee, Travis, and Random. Like,
and Renee, Fee and Renee. Sorry,
this one is by Fee and Renee.
Yeah.
But my point, I don't know, is extremely biased. But
I'm not sure when this one previously ran.
This
I know
one
that it
has been run before. I know that it has, because Fee told me that she was doing a rerun. But also, I haven't seen it run before. But like when I was saying about Random, he doesn't run bad games. Fee does not. Like, she is a master of the form. Right?
I've had this slot dedicated for Fee's game, and until yesterday, it was called Fee's game because I didn't know what game it was that she was going to be running.
You're very welcome. Because I had lunch with her on Sunday, and was like, I need you to have a fucking blurb written so that I can talk about it on the stream. And again, I take credit for other people's work. But
That's your show, you can do that if you want.
I can, and I do, on the reg. And I'm not sorry about it. But the key point here is, holy shit, that looks cool. Right?
I have so many questions just from reading each snippet. I'm like, what does that mean?
Right?
What's going to happen?
Like, every bit of it is full of plot. And you're just like, oh my god, what's going on? Also, I want to, like, I'm really grumpy because I super want to go to Conquest this year, and I am very likely to be medically unable to. And I still want to, like, make a costume for this game. Like, Go.
Sorry, I spent a lot of my time in tabletop games. So, like I said, my background is more in tabletops than it is LARP. But I played a lot of tabletop games with the same group of people. So there were 5 of us, and 4 of them ran campaigns for the group. And I was coming up with this huge conspiracy theory trying to connect them all, right? And my conspiracy theory sense went off upon reading that, because one of the parts of it is about ships that went down and pirates and stuff, which immediately connected me to be the change you wish to see. And I don't know what timing-wise those are related to, but I'm just saying, in my head, they're always going to be connected, and I needed you to know that.
This is when we pull out the corkboard and the red string and we start...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. That's where we're headed. That's exactly where we're headed.
Yeah.
do it. Let's go. Okay. Amazing. Okay, I do need to keep rolling through these because the devil is due. Aaron's game. Sorry. I did my whole thing about the best LARPs every year at Conquest being by Fee and Random and Travis, and forgot Aaron Fenwick, who is also a traditional and consistent and brilliant master of the form. He ran probably the best tabletop one-shot I've ever played way back in the day, where he ran a Dread game that I will literally never forget. Incredible work. But Lisa already pointed that out as like being amazing. So let's move on. The Diaries of Trask, Book 3, The Army of Darkness by Padrin. It's my turn to read the thing dramatically. I trust that Taryn will text me if my voice goes too far into unlistenable. In the year of our Lord 1109, the Earl of Trask was reborn as a vampire. In 1223, he returned to his estate and reclaimed his heritage, but in 1546, he vanished from both the worlds of mortals and vampires alike. A letter arrived at my secret haven tonight. It was handwritten and addressed to me by name. An invitation to meet at a house in Williamstown along with no more than 2 of my thrall servants. Who is this person who summons me and knows both my name and where I am most secret? 1972, Melbourne, Australia. Trask has returned. A 1-session freeform for 22 vampires and thralls. Set in Williamstown. Another typo for Lisa. 1972. While this is the third Trask freeform, you do not need information from the previous 2 to play. There is no system nor system knowledge required. The rating is M for horror and adult themes. Also vampires, so I assume blood and murder. Seriousness is average, 3 out of 6. Comments from the team.
It sounds
So-
really cool.
I think Pugran's been having a lot of fun going back and rewriting his old Trask games. That he's just been sort of spouting them out each year for the past couple of years, and a lot of people have been enjoying playing them and getting some crazy shenanigans out of them. And I love that we're suddenly like nearly modern. I don't know how many of these games there are. I think there are a few more to go.
Is he running one at every Conquest? Is that what's happening?
He has been, yes.
I fucking love this.
And these
I
are ones
remember
where
seeing-
he's taken
amazing.
games that he ran decades ago and is properly rewriting them and fixing them up and doing them up, which is a couple steps beyond what I generally expect from my reruns.
Absolutely. Our resident vampire hero. Plague talk.
Assuming that's me.
Yes, it's you.
Look, it's no secret I love vampires more than I love life itself. This sounds really cool. I do love a good, like, sort of like 70s to 80s setting for vampire. I think that's like when peak grungy vampires were. I haven't seen or played the other 2 of these.
It
But
specifically
it's-
stated you don't need to.
Yeah, I like that, to be honest. I like to, that I don't need to do any of it. I love the few sentences explaining, like, the very, like, building blocks and, like, history of this Earl of Trask. This is, yeah. And a 3 out of 6 on the serious scale is, like, either or. It could be really silly, it could be really, really serious. So this is, yeah, very interesting to me. I just love vampires, guys. I don't know what else to say. As soon as I saw the word vampire, I was sold.
You're just like, oh, vampire. Let's play
I
that.
was absolutely sold.
Okay, Daz, you need to make sure that you're not scheduling Sam's tabletops.
It's me.
Oh, Lisa,
That's Lisa,
you need to
not
make...
me. Oh, look at me.
I
I'm
will
already
look at
drafting
both of you
a message to
constantly.
Lisa afterwards, don't worry.
Okay, carry on.
Like, I have absolutely already put your games into my schedule, but it's not fixed yet. We can make adjustments if we need to.
Thank you.
I love you guys so much. Neva, thank you for putting your hand up. It's your turn.
I think this was. I'm kind of bad at names. I think I played the second one last year based on the comment that LARP Gav has said, there's definitely no vampires in book 2, because that was my experience of it. There were 2 sides of the game. There was the supernatural side of the game, and there was the, like, just kind of a normal Regency Ball side of the game. And I spent the entire session just being an incredibly bitchy maid with Nikki, who wrote the Seas pirate game. And we just I had no idea that I think she was secretly a vampire or something like that, and I literally had no idea there was supernatural stuff going on until the debrief, which was quite fun.
Amazing. It's great to see Gav back. It's great to see Flawed back. They are some of my favourite people. I'm glad that Plague is on the way to unlocking Zen. I'm proud of them. I'm not convinced that that's actually true, but fine. Okay, let's have a look. Pride and Extreme Prejudice. The storied and award-winning LARP by Ridian and Lance, presented by Ridian this week. Who I lost track of whose turn it is to do. Yes, go ahead, Neva. Neva and then Daz. Sorry, Daz. Neva was first.
That's okay, I just really like mix.
Can you guys like combo it? Do you think you're capable?
Oh, we can try.
There's
Is there a combo way of doing it?
There's not
No,
really
not really.
paragraphs. If it was the one that I did before,
It's a
we
line.
absolutely could have comboed it.
There's
true.
the line between the sections.
No, you take this one,
Yeah,
I'll
but
do the next one. It's fine.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Neva,
Everything
you
above
go.
the
That's
above the
good,
line
isn't
is
it?
much more
Fine.
interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
The second part is not as much fun.
Pride and Extreme Prejudice. Presented by Rydian. Written by Rydian and Lance. Beginner friendly. Some characters older kid friendly. See content warning. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single pilot in possession of a good mech must be in want of a spouse.
It's so good.
It is...
Sorry.
It is the year of our Dark Lords 1802, in a twisted version of Regency England. The place is a fantastical mishmash of the real world and the strange. The invention of clockwork mechs and the British Empire's cult-like worship of the dark between the stars has rather affected the political makeup of the land and the war with the French. An uneasy truce has been declared, giving some a chance to foster peace, lick wounds, and make blood sacrifices to the servants of the dark. But in the minds of many aristocrats gathering at the estate of Duke Radcliffe for the party today, there is something much more important. Marriage! This game is a farce. It plays with the elements of classism, etiquette, war, the supernatural, and empire, and encourages you to make fun of these things. Women and queer people have more freedom in this world than typically depicted in this genre due to equalizing pursuits, such as mech piloting, sorcery, mad science. But tensions remain between who is the heir to a fortune and who needs marriage to survive. Of course, this means there are themes of love and romance too. It's more like a dark and silly fever dream of the Regency period than the real deal, so don't worry if your history is a bit rusty. Based on the one-page tabletop RPG of the same name by Grant Howitt, further inspirations taken from Fallen London, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and other Regency stories such as Downton Abbey and Bridgerton. Player capacity is 22 to 30. It is on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. And the system will be taught during the session is what you need to know in advance. The rating is PG. This game is a supernatural satirical period drama. It has themes of romance, war, trauma, and ritual sacrifice/murder, the intensity of which depends on the characters. Some character roles could be made available to play for children.
I just love that romance, war, trauma, and ritual sacrifice murder is a 2 out of 6.
So good. I played this game last year, and it's so fucking fun. I said to Rydian when we were doing like character selection, like you getting to choose, I said I want to be the most Maggie Smith ass bitch, and boy did they deliver. They gave me the most Maggie Smith ass bitch of a character, and I spent the entire game like bitching and gossiping with my bridge club and trying to outdo them, and it was so much fun.
It is very much what it says on the tin.
Right. I like that it's in the Blockbuster slot. There's the 7:30 Saturday night. Spot. That was always the one we tried to fight for in 2005.
Yeah, it's the 7:30 p.m. slots are definitely the ones that are in highest demand.
Yeah, that was the one we wanted. Like, I don't know, we were running Zeppelin LARPs, or Zeppelin Freeform, where we were like, we're tying it into our weekend LARP, and so all the hardcore Freeform people were like, that's not... I mean, at the time, we felt like they were being elitist about it, but actually what they wanted was something that wasn't dependent on other media to be the most important slot in the session, which I think they were right and we were wrong. But the point, which is the first time I've admitted that in public. Anyway, the key point here is that 7:30 slot is the Blockbuster slot, right? Like that's the big one. Has that changed?
Sort of. I tend to find that the people who want to come play the freeforms don't seem to mind so much when they happen, so long as they do.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So for me, I tend to try and put the bigger games into that last slot just because it's easier to expand into other spaces because we have fewer tables running at the time.
Legit?
But otherwise, it's like does the game seem like it is going to be better if it is run at nighttime?
Yeah.
Or if the GM specifically requests it?
Yeah, I think when I'm thinking of 2000, like when I spent a lot of my emotional energy on ConLARP, or like freeforms at conventions, there would be 2 smaller games in the afternoon, or 3 smaller games, or like a smaller game and a couple of tabletops that attracted the freeform crowd in the afternoons. And then the Saturday 7:30 one was the one that anyone who cared about LARP or cared about freeform, that was the one they all went to. And so we always wanted that slot. I'm not sure I ever got it. And also, I'm not sure I ever deserved it. Responses to Pride and Extreme Prejudice from somebody who's not a huge Viridian fanboy?
I like mechs. I like mechs. I think mechs are really cool. I have purchased multiple random indie TTRPGs that are purely about mechs. I'm currently playing one with a friend where we are playing a mech and a pilot in like a journaling RPG. I think mechs are the coolest things and I love them. Yeah. Anyway. Big fan. Love a mech. So putting mechs into like making mechs but steampunk, and also again more of that Regency period.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be deeply fascinating. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'd be really interested to see how that plays together.
Genuinely, if you're going to Conquest and this is not sold out, jump it. Like, I cannot imagine going to the con and not signing up for this game. Like, I can imagine going to the con and missing out because I had to, but not signing up. Anyway, Plague?
I unfortunately missed last year when Pride and Extreme Prejudice was played. This was like just when I started getting into like Calico LARPs.
Yeah. I
kind of regret not looking into it further. I had no idea what it was about. I just saw the Regency and went, meh. I'm regretting not looking into it further. Yeah. Mechs, and I love how just very flippant is like, yes, mechs and sorcery is super important, but marriage,
yes,
come on, you know,
right?
Far more important to know who's marrying who and all that. I think that's definitely what makes it a Regency themed is the
all of that,
making sure that the right people are getting married.
That's what matters.
Marriage and hating the French.
Of course.
2 crucial parts of anyone's existence.
Exactly.
We do not endorse racism
Eldritch
on this stream, except against the French. Sorry.
I especially love the Eldritch mech things. Mechs and Eldritch, especially when they're together, is something I thoroughly love. Like, it's just great.
Right? I want mechs and Eldritch and giant monsters. Like, I loved the Leviathan series for that purpose. I think Pride and Prejudice in the Leviathan setting by Scott Westerfield is actually perhaps my dream life, in which I shall be living in all of my dreams forever. Lisa.
Well, I also did play this one already. I think one of the reasons why I think people will potentially be able to get into this one is because Viridian has run it a couple of times already at a couple of times specifically for Calico. The very first run of that was at Camp Calico, where I believe it was a much rougher version of what it is now.
Also, I think it might have been Viridian's first game that they'd written.
Yes.
As far as I know. But yeah.
Yes. So I think this is the 4th run of it. So hopefully, like, some of the people who would mad dash to any freeform will have already played it. So there should be some room for new people to come and check it out.
No, No, I can't imagine having played it and not wanting to immediately play it again. Sorry. I'm not helping, am I?
You have a point. Yes.
But I'm not
I'd love
helping.
to, but
Get into it. Play this. Okay, speaking of games that I have played that absolutely I would rush to play again, let's have a look at Spire by Will, my co-conspirator at LARP.au, or VicLARP.au. The town crier of Victorian LARP has written us a game. I played one of... I booked into the playtest and then I got sick and missed it. And then I played a version of it that he ran for Caligo very recently, and it was so good. My god. Daz, would you like to spend
Hi.
your dramatic reading on this one?
Absolutely, I would love to.
Please do. Spire
the masks we wear. Oh,
Nope, you go. I was wrong. You were right.
sorry.
No, what? Hang on, stop for a second. I'm like, I fucked up. I was wrong, you were right. And your response to that was sorry?
It was my automatic response.
I
alright.
know, Daz. Are you talking about this with your therapist?
It's alright. I've definitely got at least one friend watching the stream, and they will not let me forget about this one.
I'm just like... Maybe
clip it,
your
Chad.
response should have been thank you and not sorry. Or like...
I-
Or like, that's right, bitch, and not sorry. Like...
I'm gonna read the thing now. Thanks for the pity laugh, everyone.
That was not a pity laugh. You were genuinely very funny.
that was
Alright.
hilarious.
Spire, the mask we wear. Spire, a mile-high city ruled by cruel high elves in which the drow have been oppressed for centuries. A nightmare warren full of twisting passages and structures built and rebuilt atop itself. A city of 1,000 gods. The furthest bastion of a terrible and burgeoning empire. A structure of unknown make that houses a blistering, rotten hole in reality at center where the sane dare not tread. You have been invited to the Erebus Masquerade Ball, which is shaping up to be the event of the season, a party to die for, and for at least one guest, an invitation to kill for. Spire, the Mask We Wear is a free-form designed for 24 players, filled with politics, intrigue, betrayal, and murder, based in Christopher Taylor and Grant Howlett's Spire setting. Praise a cruel Alfear, member of the drow underclass, or a human outsider while managing hidden agendas and plots. 19 to 24 players, scheduled for Saturday 4 p.m. System knowledge none required. Rating MA 15+, with fantasy racism, slavery, imperialism, colonialism, mentions of blood, bloodletting, violence, artwork of and mentions of spiders, drugs, alcohol, infectious disease, and torture. Seriousness, though, is average at a 3 out of 6. Just in case you thought that was going to be serious with all of those trigger warnings.
Yeah, no, you go.
Honestly, I would have put it at a 2 out of 6 for the game that I played. I was wrong. I played in the same game as Josie, I think. Yeah, not.
Yeah, because I played the playtest. I don't remember seeing you.
No,
Geneva.
you played the other one.
We played the same character though in the 2 different games. I found out. Yeah.
How fun is that character? I need to pick your brain about it afterwards. I'll have to pick your brain about it afterwards because so the character is like a poet. I don't know poetry, so I bought a pad of paper and I was drawing portraits of people all night. And they were really bad portraits, like emphasis on stick figure with maybe 2 or 3 identifiable features.
That's
And I just-
the correct way to freeform portraiture.
Draw them and just tear them off and hand it to someone and XOXO on it,
That's amazing, though, because you have to imagine, though, right? If you were at a party with Picasso, and Picasso was
Picasso.
like, you have to do this. Yeah, you imagine you're at a party, Picasso, Pablo Picasso is at the party.
Yep.
Andy Warhol is at the party, like whoever, and they draw a stick figure of you that looks like shit and like sign it, you're not going to tell Andy Warhol his stick figure looks like shit. You're not going to tell Picasso. You're not going to tell fucking Da Vinci, right?
I wouldn't call that character's poetry comparable with Da Vinci.
I consider him more of a fuckboy.
When Will came to me for the playtest, he was like, "Hey, here's a list of characters, but I think you would really enjoy
This one.
the fuckboy."
Yeah.
Specifically described the character as the fuckboy, and I was like, "You know what, Will? I would enjoy playing a fuckboy, and God, did I have so much fun." It was just such a silly, like, trying to, like, not even flirting with everyone I could, like, see in my, it was more just, acting like everyone wanted me.
Yes.
And then when people were, like, very clearly brushing me off, or like, yeah, that's cool, I'm gonna go talk to this other person, just being like, oh, yeah, I'll talk to you later, or something, And, like, with my drawings, I kept just, whenever I was, like, directly flirting with them, I would add more X's than O's. If anyone kept them, because they were terrible, terrible stick figures. Yeah, I would just add, like, several X's, and then, like, slide it over with a wink. Like, very exaggerated.
Look, that is amazing.
It was so much fun.
I
think I played a much more pathetic version than yours.
Yeah, no, Neva's was much less fuckboy and much more tragic. Like, Neva's was a figure of sorrow, not...
Do you know the song, the artist Mr. Fantasy?
No,
I was fully
you'll
channeling.
have to sing it for us.
Okay. No, God, I will not be. It's essentially a song of, like, about being, like, the dream guy, the Mr. Fantasy, and that was the song that I had in my head the whole time I was playing this character of, like, does love me, actually.
That is very psychologically healthy.
Yeah, it was honestly
there's a couple
very
of people
fun.
here who could take notes.
I'll send the link to the song.
Sorry.
I need you to know I'm already being called out in the group chat for that, by the way. Already made its way straight into the group chat.
I would like to inform your group chat that they should be adding to my numbers by chatting it in my chat. Anyway,
But on the other
I
topic
care a
of
lot about
completely other
numbers.
characters, it was really fun. Like,
How
I didn't even
fucking
interact
good
with
is
everyone.
this LARP though?
Yeah, like there were so many people that I didn't get to talk to because they were always constantly busy.
Right? If
And
I was playing
the
this
debrief
game
at the
again,
end-
I could play it as the same character 3 or 4
Yeah,
times.
I mean, I
and have
signed
a
up for
different
the one that you guys played. I was like, get me in on that,
Yeah.
just so I could see someone else play the character I played.
You guys would have had a great time. Lisa, then Daz. Tell us about Spire, Lisa. You weren't at it. You missed it.
No, I haven't played yet.
Are you gonna?
I'm not sure whether I'm going to go for the Conquest. Basically, how I usually do with these ones is if I know I'm going to get another chance, I won't sign up for it. I'll just leave it in case they need more players, just to give other people an opportunity. So there's a good chance I won't end up playing this one until Fenno.
Yeah, we do know Will is also going to run it at Fenno.
Yes. So, like, there's no way I'm not going to give it a go.
It's so good.
Daz?
So-
Sorry, Lisa, you finish.
Oh, just I understand that part of it is that the thing of the characters not being complete, where you sort of pick
Yes.
goals and things that
Yeah,
are separate
so-
from the character sheets, which
It's like,
I that is kind of a red flag for me. It doesn't seem to have actually been a problem. The idea of not having a goal that is tied to the character seems very strange. I don't need to know how that works because I'm going to play it anyway. But I'm absolutely curious to see how it is that works.
I think that is an excellent design question. Plague has a comment, then Neva has a comment, then I have a comment, and then I assume Daz will have a comment as well. So, Plague first.
I was gonna say, to me as well, that was also a worry that I had, going in, like, knowing the bones about the character, but then this, like, whole separate thing. But, like, it ended up working really well when I played it, and I didn't. It felt to me very like an optional choose in of, oh, you know, I've got this stuff that my character's dealing with, but then there's like this whole other secret of, yeah, I could dabble into it, or not. I didn't end up doing it just because I was having too much fun flouncing around, but there were so many other players who did take full advantage of that, and I know since the playtest, Will wrote a whole bunch more that he showed me at one stage, and they all looked really cool.
Thank you, Wintersend, for joining the chat. Feel free to follow, and I will say your name again because I love you and I love numbers. Neva?
Yeah, I wanted to clarify as well, because there are goals that are linked to the character as well. So there are goals that you have on the character sheet that are the character's goals, but then there's also this extra element that does get semi-randomized based on what Will has said when I've asked about it. I thought it worked really, really well because it's in a similar way as when you have the kind of game, like a tabletop game, say, where you roll a random characteristic for your character to have, and then you have to kind of make that work and integrate it, and it's less a question of, does this fit with my character, and more a question of, how does this fit with my character, and what does it change about my character?
How am I
and I found that
my character to include this new thing? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah. And I found that with mine, it actually, there was a whole kind of side of the party game, of the game, that I wouldn't necessarily have had that much access to without the secret that I had, which kind of prompted all this extra, like, it sent my character down a completely different track to the way that I'd kind of been going for in the early game. And it just wouldn't have happened if I'd had a different, or it would have happened in a different way, maybe, but like, it would have been a very different play experience without that. So I'll be interested to see, as it gets played again and again, and maybe opportunities come up where people do need to start replaying it rather than having new players, if it does make it so that you can have things that are replayable, I think it'd be quite interesting.
Absolutely. Daz?
Yeah, I have kind of a related comment rather than a comment on this specifically, which is on replayability. So I have run a frankly ridiculous amount of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Like, my first year, I ran 2 sessions every session for 4 sessions or 3 sessions. So I ended up running like 6 or 7 one-shots, like 6 or 7 times over the course of the con, which is a lot. And on the replayability, as someone who, now I have no context aside from what is here. I haven't been anywhere near as involved as anybody else.
You haven't discussed it. That's fine. We're just talking about the idea of replayable LARPs. We're talking about the idea of writing a freeform with like sort of randomized goals on top of the character goals.
Yeah, so like I have run a couple of my one-shots, a whole bunch. And the really interesting thing is, if people are having interesting interactions, which is what it sounds like you're getting a base character which has these base things, but you're getting these other additional goals and concepts on top, you can make, like, they can be totally different sessions. Like, completely and utterly different. And I've seen that, like, I've been running a Date Everything inspired Thirsty Sword Lesbians one-shot, and I have never had...
Wait, fuck.
Wait.
Fuck, pause.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah,
That is the correct response.
You said pause for applause.
Okay, no. We're going to come back to this one, Daz. But for now,
great.
Carry on.
But, which is essentially just interact. I put everyone in a room and they interact with a bunch of NPCs, right?
Yeah.
I have, despite putting the same people, like putting a group of people in the same room with the same setup every single time, they always discover different things. They always interact with different things. They will always do different things because, regardless of what it says on the character sheet, you're bringing yourself to the game. So you're still bringing whoever you are into that character. So it is never truly the same character, right? So it will always be a different game. Even if I was to hand you the same characters, it would be markedly less different, it sounds, than what you guys have been experiencing. But even bringing exactly the same characters, if you have different physical people in the game, it will always end up in a weird, wacky, different way.
That's why...
Because anytime you offer someone a choice, it'll be different.
Yeah, any replayable LARP is replayable for that reason, if no other reason. Neva, you had a point real quick, though, because we got to push through.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it.
Okay.
It was just to
So
chime in and
I
be
just-
like, yeah, I agree.
100%. So, for Spire, imagine... I played Juliet, in a Romeo and Juliet system. And my Juliet happened to be a Cthulhu cultist. And so part of playing that character was going, how much am I Juliet, how much am I Cthulhu cultist? Right? And if I played that game again with the same character, but I wasn't a Cthulhu cultist, like, I would actually be an extremely different character. And, like, just swapping out which subplot I was in. Like, if I was an Azathoth cultist instead, or if I was a loyalist to the Aelfir instead, or whatever, like, I'm playing a different LARP. And I think it's really interesting that they've got this game where they have two separate... It's almost like writing two freeforms and just shuffling which bits connect to which bits. Yeah, Neva.
As Gav has pointed out, it's worth shouting out to the Elm and the In character magazine art that was
my
done
god,
Really
it was
cool.
so
as
good.
well. So good.
Little gossipy sections.
Right. Like, the whole thing was incredible. If I do this, like, here is some of the character art that Elm did, where everybody
They're the
has their own
masks.
masks, right?
Because in the setting, all of the, like, Alfea wear masks. I think the Drow do as well.
The
And
Drow
it's-
do because the Alfea make them.
And it's seen as, like, a modesty thing as well. Like,
Yeah.
a full face mask, you're a... You know, is what all proper members of society wear.
Yeah. It's like wearing a suit, right? Like a full face
Yeah.
mask. Whereas a character in sort of a little bit of a sketchy mask is like
Scandalous.
got their tits out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Elm has done an incredible job doing the art for this. Good point, Gav. Thank you.
Our character definitely had a tiny skimpy mask, for sure.
Oh, I didn't even wear a mask.
I turned up for that game and I brought with me like a costume that was inappropriate to wear on the street, frankly. And then I went to get changed into it, and we were running the game in like the library, and a woman walked
dear.
into the bathroom that I was getting changed in, and was like, "Excuse me, this is the women's bathroom." And then I wore a much less daring costume than I was going to. It kind of skewed my view of the game, and it's not fair on the game.
No, I'm sorry that
But
happened.
it sucked. Anyway, moving on.
I didn't wear a costume because I saw playtest and I took it literally and I rocked up in jeans and a t-shirt.
Look, there's power in it. The last freeform in the list is Travis's one. Like,
Which we've
if
already
you-
gone over.
We have, but if you don't play Travis's LARP, you're making a mistake. That guy is so fucking good at writing LARP. And the idea of Travis writing a game... Also, actually genuinely extremely good at playing LARP. Like, he's fun to play with. Neva.
I met Travis while playing LARP with Travis at Fenno.
Yeah.
And it was a serious game, and Travis was essentially playing a wizard. And anyone who has seen Travis, which
He looks like a
many
wizard.
people have, he's got the most wizard face. He's got a beard down to here. He's got like fabulous wizard eyebrows. He's a wizard. And so
hang on.
it's
I would like to
stuck
point
in my
out
head.
that he fit that description when I met him in 1999. Anyway,
Beard got a bit whiter. That's the only difference.
That's the only difference.
That's the wise wizard coming into it.
Sorry, Neva, carry on with the story.
He's got this like gravitas when he plays as well. That it was very. And then I met him outside of LARP, just in real life, and I was like, oh, you still talk like this? Cool.
Except the first time
You're
I
still a
met him,
wizard.
he was playing a society lady, who was like a fancy lady, and he was putting on his lady voice and being a fancy lady, and he was just a fucking delight to play with. It did take away.
He only
some of the
doesn't play women
gravitas.
more because people can't get past the beard.
Right? He's very good at it. He is a man in touch with his femininity. And I say that as the greatest of compliments, frankly. We are going to take a break. You're right, Indigo Decay. Thank you, Radiant. He is growing in wizardly power. Gav is doing an excellent job in the chat. We're going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to come back and talk about tabletops and other stuff at Conquest.
Me.
Who?
I said that's me. I'm doing tabletop stuff.
Are you sure? I hadn't heard
I
that.
hope so.
No, I think that got
Yes.
cut.
Can confirm.
Love you
That
guys.
just means more time for LARP.
It does.
Yeah, like your schedule is starting to sound kind of complicated.
Yeah. I wasn't originally going to sign up for any of them, but now that I've read them.
So good. Alright, we're going to cut to a 10-minute break. We will be back in 10 to talk more about Conquest with this bunch of champions. See you guys soon. Welcome back to the Immersive Arts Switch stream, talking about Conquest Games Convention 2026. We are very excited to be here. We are having a wonderful time. Most importantly, we are like just going through what matters, what's interesting at Conquest, the only things that matter. No, just highlights really. While I'm here, I am reminded that I do need to point out that we have the calendar at viclub.au. We have pilot season games that are sold out. You can't play them anymore. Bad luck. The Hobbits Hoedown has their invites or their applications open for Hobbits helpers and for volunteers. And they've put up their dates for when you can get tickets. If you have never played a Hobbits Hoedown, then you really should do your best to try and get into it. Except if you get a ticket and I don't, and then you should not play and instead give me your ticket. If you have just joined the stream post the break, welcome. We love to have you here. Please follow if you can. Please add your numbers to my numbers. Chat in the chat. The numbers all matter. This is an Immersive Arts Switch stream. Immersive Arts Melbourne are a group of LARPrites and event managers who want to help more LARPs happen, who love the LARP medium as an art form. We're trying to push that forward. We're trying to invite new people to run games. If you're interested in running LARP and you don't know how, we can point you in correct directions. Whether we can help you, or whether Caligo can help you, whether Conquest can help you, we can find people who can support you. In very quickly, let's just go around and do a quick reintroduction. I am Josie, she, her. I have been playing and running LARPs for a real long time, and I'm a complete nerd. Neva?
I'm Geneva, they, them, and I've been playing LARPs for 3 or more years now. Coming on 4, hey. And I love it.
See, Daz?
Hi, my name's Daz. My pronouns are he, him. I really started more in the TTRPG space, but I absolutely got started with Mega Games back in 2019 and absolutely fell in love with jumping into freeforms at Conquest.
Absolutely, we'll turn you into a LARPer yet. My sweet daughter Plague.
I'm Plague. I use they, them. I have been playing tabletop games since like 2013 and LARPing for the last 3-ish years. Yeah, that's about it.
Most notably as my apprentice / later the person who overcame my power.
As much good as that did me.
Fucking Hathaway. Yeah, until the power was taken away from everybody.
The
very
same
shortly
day.
thereafter. And Lisa.
Lisa, pronouns she, her, and I'm the games wrangler for Conquest Games Convention.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. The first half of this stream was all about the freeforms running at Conquest and the different games running there. This second half of this, we are going to be talking about the tabletops running at Conquest. Now, the blurbs are not up on the website as far as I'm aware. Is that correct?
No, they are not. Some of the walk-up games are up. The open gaming blurbs got put up today, as well as the organised play games. So your Adventurers League, Pathfinder Society ones, those got put up today because there's significantly fewer of those than there are of the tabletop games. Yeah, I still have to figure out exactly how I'm going to put the tabletop games up because we've been told that just listing all of them is too many and we need to divide them up somehow. Guys, there's like 60 of them that have been submitted.
Holy shit.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
We've got
so
about
60 separate tabletop...
84 games in total got submitted to Conquest this year.
Wow.
That's
so
cool. Like, this is why they're not all up yet. I'm still juggling the schedules.
Knowing the numbers, I think that's perfectly understandable.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's
sorry.
Totally fair. Play. Why don't you tell us what you're running?
Hey! Much to everyone's surprise, I'm running Vampire the Masquerade. Whoa! It's shock horror. I'm running a story that I wrote myself. It is the second time I'll be running it at a con. I did it at PAX last year. It's called Ashes to Ashes. You are a pre-established group of detectives who have been summoned to Melbourne by the Prince because he fears there is a rat within his court. However, once you arrive, all that you find is a pile of his ashes, and you must uncover who the murderer is.
Dead Prince!
Dead Prince.
Dead Prince.
Very dramatic.
Very dramatic. That's exciting.
Yeah. I have run it, at PAX. It was pretty good at PAX. I was very, very nervous about running my own writing, but it went really well. I had good few glowing reviews of it, and it went differently every time. I think we mentioned earlier about, like, players, being presented with a situation and somehow managing to find and do different things each time, and I had that. I, got a friend of mine in the chat right now who playtested it with me.
So Shodan is very excited about this game.
Shodan playtested it for me like 2 days before PAX.
I was just gonna say they might just have run out of ashtrays. That's true. Did any of the players investigate that maybe they turned up to the Prince and actually somebody had just not put out the cigarette?
No. Because I tend to describe it as a fairly sizable pile of ash on the chair that he was sitting on.
Okay.
You walk into an office and there's a big pile of ash.
Sorry, Fortitude, you failed us. Anyway, so you're running the same game over the weekend. So you're running 4 or 5 sessions of the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be fun. I've got I'm not going to be using the traditional V5 sheets. I'm actually using sheets designed and made by the lovely Elm. They're really cool. You get to choose like who you were when you were alive and then who you were when you died. And I really liked that. And I was like, I'm stealing that for my games. Thank you.
Elm needs to read less Wraith. Okay. Amazing. Carry on.
Yeah, there's not much else I can think of without spoiling the plot too much.
That's fair.
I'm trying to keep it vague and mysterious. But yeah, murder mystery.
Murder mystery. Neva?
I have a question, which is how, on a scale of that dame's legs went up to here to, hello, this is a very serious detective story. How noir is it?
It's sort of, I love playing vampire like it's a episode of What We Do in the Shadows. I love like the times when it can be super serious and you're grappling with the personal horror of the monster that you've become. But I do love like we did blood and the people whose blood are on drugs and now I'm a wizard. Like I you know, there is silly aspects to it. And like players also bring a really silly aspect to it, I think, if they see like some of the concepts that are there. I've had you know, people who have read the, you know, you were a athlete in life and Showdown in chat played a peaked in high school ex-football player who became a vampire. You know, I think there's a lot of wiggle room in my one shot for a little bit more player agency when it comes to, like, other than the rigidity of you are currently now detectives and you all sort of know each other.
Yeah.
It's pretty loosey-goosey, fun, but also serious because if you don't figure out who the murderer is, you will die.
Delightful. Daz, you're running Thirsty Sword Lesbians?
I am indeed.
Do you want to talk about that?
Absolutely, I do. I've been running Thirsty Sword Lesbians since what's probably 2021. But prior to that, I ran a lot of D&D. I'm talking weekly D&D one-shots. The Tabletop Gaming Club I talked about at the start. So I ran weekly one-shots for groups of random strangers at our gaming club for weekly to fortnightly for probably 5 or 6 semesters at uni. I trained people in how to run D&D one-shots for most of that time. Even after I left, I was still coming back and doing that. So I have extensive background in running one-shots. And almost the opposite. TSL as a system is quite silly and goofy. And
it's
as
called
a result,
Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
It is, and the characters are all queer stereotypes.
Yes.
They're stereotypes of queer traumas specifically. Generally speaking, and that can make them really interesting.
I hadn't thought about that, but yes. Yeah.
Generally speaking, or things that could lead to traumas and stuff like that. Something that is almost the exact opposite of you is, because it's an inherently silly story, players find the most serious things out of the stupidest characters. So what I've previously, I have written different one-shots for every single thing I run at a con, and running 6 games at a con and having them all be different was a fresh realm of hell I never want to go back to.
No, that.
So what I decided I would.
Why would you do that? Why?
Because I was silly and 23.
I mean, you can
don't do that.
That's
don't do that.
But that's fine.
Sorry. So what I decided to do was write a Date Everything inspired one shot where you could kind of interact with basically any object, and that has led to extremely punny names. So one of my personal favorites is she's not a spoiler. Chrissy, who is a trans woman who is the embodiment of a Bible. And just so you know, I'm allowed to dead name her. She said so herself. Her dead name is Christian. And she goes by Chrissy.
Yes, yeah.
Or if you interact with the bed, then you find a little curled up, sleepy little trans mask in the bed, and his name is Bug, because he's a bed bug. Yeah, that's the caliber of name I'm talking. I got to a state with all of my players in one of my sessions at PAX where they would just guess, I'd introduce them to an object and they'd guess the names. That was pretty fun. That was a lot of fun.
I do love that though. But there is that thing, right, where if your game is silly enough, the players get extremely serious about it. And they start, and if your game is too serious, they get quite silly about it. But like, where where Dungeons and Dragons, your classes are about what people do, or I mean, Apocalypse World, or Dungeon World, which Thirsty Sword Lesbians is powered by the Apocalypse game. The playbooks are about what the characters do, and in Thirsty Sword Lesbians, they're much more about who they are, or the role they fill, or their reactions, their how they react to trauma, or how they react to attraction, I guess. Is one of the key things in the playbooks.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
It really is, and I think it's like it probably. I know it's powered by the Apocalypse. It probably owes more to Monster Hearts than it does to Apocalypse World, which is like both Monster Hearts and Thirsty Sword Lesbians are trans-lesbian written games, but in Monster Hearts, the playbooks are what is the archetype that you play in the story, and they're archetypal monsters, whereas in Thirsty Sword Lesbians, they're archetypal romance stereotypes. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I am well aware that I have read the fuck out of these games and played very little of them. And
that's fine. We can always fix that.
Please do. Please.
Yeah, I find that they tend to be people's like epitomes of queer trauma. So, for example, really common ones that always get picked, and I've played enough of these now to kind of know Nature Witch, which is really naive, super, really naive, really in touch with nature, but doesn't really know how to be a person or interact with society. That's super popular. The Devoted, which is like a paladin.
Devoted, yeah.
Those are super, super popular. I rarely go a game without them getting picked. And both of those are such, like, for the Devoted, it's all about devoting yourself to a cause, whatever that may be. But it's an exploration of self in how you take care of yourself when you're devoting yourself to so many other things. And all of them are kind of like that, where the crucial crux of it isn't necessarily romance. It's more... every single thing has a question, which is, what about your character gets in the way of you having these intimate relationships with people?
Yeah, I mean, both of those are about. I mean, the Devoted is sacrifices their own wants for the cause all the time, and has to learn to put their crush in somewhere, right? Or learn to put their own needs in the middle of their thing. The Nature Witch is deeply autistic and has special interests, and it happens to be nature. We could rename it the Vampire Witch and would play it every day. We could rename it just catching strays here.
Rename it the LARP Witch and it's all of us.
Yes. Rename it the Numbers Witch. It's me. Like, I don't know. I have spent significant time with my therapist talking through why the Devoted should not be a goal. But, so we have a couple of these games. Lisa, do you have any further games that you would like to add? Do you want to point somebody out?
There are a couple of special ones that I think would be good for people to be aware of. We've got one person who has offered a tabletop puzzle escape room type game for the convention, which looks like they've got sort of a Lord of the Rings flavored thing and a...
Neva is currently sold pretty hard. Okay, Neva, and then Lisa's going to keep talking about this one thing.
I'm pretty sure that found out about Conquest because I recommended it to them because I
Who's
played
this
it with
person?
a escape room friend of mine from Brisbane who came down to, do some things and was checking it out and needed extra players. They're pretty fun. Yeah. I like
we like
I'm glad they've shown up.
where possible, we do like to encourage doing something different with the medium.
Yeah.
Whereby it can still be done on a table.
Well,
so that's something a bit special. We've got
that is exciting.
if you want.
Hang on. Let's stick on the Lord of the Rings escape room, people.
What
does that look like as a tabletop?
I look forward to finding out, but
Fair enough. Neva, what does that look like? Have you seen the game, or is it?
It's interesting. I'll be honest. I haven't played that many tabletop RPGs in general. I tend to, surprising exactly no one, find it hard to wait my turn, and so I prefer LARPs where it's always my turn. So it's hard to pinpoint the difference between that versus a regular tabletop. It's got puzzles that are really fun, and a lot more props around the puzzles as well that are really fun.
Sick.
I don't know genuinely like how much it differs from the kind of standard. You've written a module, which is part of why I recommended that they bring it to Conquest, because I think it'll fit in quite well as like a convention game type thing.
Yeah, you compare that escape room concept to a tabletop module, especially some of the older modules that are more around getting through them than they are around exploring the characters. Like the difference between an 80s Gygax D&D game and an escape room is dice. And also that the escape room is less likely to go, you failed, game over.
Yeah, and I had a great time. They were really fun, and I am interested to hear what other people think, having played them at the convention, because I'm in that space where I'm like, I can't tell if this is just a regular convention game, or if this is doing something a bit different. I kind of want to pick other people's brains about it after the convention, so that'll be interesting to do. But yeah, it was a fun time, and I almost think that like framing that style of game where it is you have to get through a puzzle, you get through a scenario as an escape room does almost kind of front what type of game it's going to be in a really nice way. Like you go in expecting to have a puzzle to solve. Yeah, so
more puzzles, probably less role playing.
Puzzles.
That's what it says on the tin.
Absolutely. The people who are our extremely character-driven tabletop runners down here, comments on the escape room version?
The final thing I'll say is that it did a really nice job of having lots of things that people could be doing at the same time in terms of the puzzles, which was really nice. I really enjoyed that.
I love escape rooms. I used to go to them a lot more regularly when I had a little bit more of disposable income. I should get a group together to do more. Anyway, I'm really interested to see if whether or not like you are given just like worded puzzles, or if there are like physical little puzzles handed to you. Because I know I struggle with more worded puzzle stuffs, because I'm a very much more visual, seeing it in front of me person. So I'd be very interested to see how that's done in a tabletop setting, especially with like the small amount of time you get for the tabletop role play.
Daz, then Neva.
I think it's going to be great. I had a little bit of a period of time there when I was like doing full-time uni, working 3 days a week, president of a club that ran 15 hours of games a week, and running D&D weekly, plus running 2 campaigns of my own, where nothing was real anymore and the rules of D&D were made up and nothing matters. And so I started going really weird and alt and started making them in character basically do exactly this. So I think it's going to be fantastic. I have zero misgivings about this. I think it's going to be great.
I'm here for it. Neva.
I wanted the visual puzzles thing. like kind of coming back to me as we talk, they had a really good system for like they'd thought about that in terms of audio versions of what you have and like encouraging you to put it in certain ways. So they have like inbuilt stuff. So I think it's good.
Cool.
And I did really enjoy them. Yeah.
Awesome.
This might be slightly off topic for this particular Conquest, but just talking about tabletop games and about tabletop games, about physical puzzles. I think probably the best tabletop I've ever played at a con was at a Conquest in the early 2000s, which was a Dread game run by actually, I don't know who ran it. The Dread system is written by Epidiah Ravachol, who is one of my favourite people on the internet. And he wrote Worlds Without Master. He wrote a fucking incredible set of TTRPGs that I think I should run again. But the key point here is Dread is Jenga. And the way Dread works is it's a system written around horror. When you do something that your character is good at, you take one block off the Jenga tower and you put it back on the Jenga tower. When you do something your character is bad at, you take 3 blocks off the Jenga tower. If you knock down the Jenga tower, your character dies. And I played a Cthulhu game at Conquest that was, I don't know, we were Irish gangster boys, and the way that the physicality of it builds tension is remarkable. And I think there's so much space for physicality and building things and making stuff happen that is not explored in dice-heavy games that we can work on. Like games where the central mechanic is a map, games where the central mechanic is objects, games where the central mechanic is physical puzzles. Lisa.
I'll just point out, while on the topic, we have had a game submitted this year where the GM is running a superhero game and is bringing crafting materials for people to make their own masks.
That's so cool. What? I love taking home props at the end of... It's like a souvenir.
That's probably the most interesting one I've seen as far as stuff to do at the table.
That's amazing. Do you have more? Do you have their blurb? Can you pull that up?
I can tell you a bit more about it.
Can I say one thing on Jenga Towers while you're pulling it up?
Yeah, please do.
I've been playing Starcrossed recently with a friend of mine.
Yes, because Starcrossed is a Dread,
which is a Jenga one.
Yeah.
I've been playing Starcrossed recently with a friend of mine, and totally different kind of tension. In that every time you do something really meaningful, you pull a block out of the tower and put it on top.
Yes.
But the tension every single time that this is going to be the moment that breaks the relationship, like this is going to be the end. What if this is the thing that finally does it? And both times we've played, you know how you go through and you tap on the ones to see which ones are loose? Every single time it has been like one of those, or like we haven't even noticed just as it's fallen. And it's always been, we've played it twice now, it's always been like the biggest jump scare when you hear the huge crash. And whatever's just happened, that's the end of the relationship. However, whatever you've done, that's it. And now you've got to deal with whatever the repercussions are.
Incredible.
Really good.
Yes. Starcrossed is a dread hack, and it's like, okay, so if horror is about building tension until somebody dies, what if we did that with the romance genre instead? And it's fucking genius, and I read it when it came out, and I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. And then I never played it, and that sounds amazing.
It's really good.
I bet. Neva and then Lisa.
I was just thinking about alternate, like, physical mechanics, and I remembered a game that a friend introduced me to years ago. We just did like one little playtest, and I haven't played it since, but I'd love to again, which is called Spell. And its central mechanic is a bag of Scrabble tiles.
Yes.
And you're playing witches or wizards or magical girls or something, and you pull out of the hat a certain number of Scrabble tiles based on what you're trying to do and how good you are at it, and then what you can spell with the Scrabble tiles you've brought is the spell that you then cast, and you have to justify it. Or good.
That sounds great.
I love it. Okay. We've written a new convention. We're just going to play Jenga and Scrabble.
I must
Lisa.
admit it. Haven't had a Dread game submitted in a number of years, actually.
I know. How good is Dread, though? Sorry.
I found the game in question with the mask making. It's called Shadows over Mistwood High. And it is
Hang on. Dramatic reading, please, Lisa.
It's a City of Mist system game.
Oh,
and the
Gavin
blurb
just
says...
exploded in the comments. Sorry, go on.
When an unexpected quake shudders through Mistwood High, the earth splits open and something colossal emerges. A kaiju-like echo of an ancient legend is advancing on the school, drawn by forces no one fully understands. Only a few students hear the call to stand against it, students who must keep their powers hidden even as danger closes in. Can they protect their classmates, conceal their identities, and stop the creature before the truth breaks through?
Like magical
That's
girls.
so fucking hot.
Cool.
Go play.
I love magical girls.
High school superheroes that involves getting to make your own mask.
And they've got to stay secret.
To me, it reads like every magical girl anime manga ever, and I'm all for it. I love magical girl animes, especially when it comes to like the scary aspect of like kaijus and there is something unknown happening. Like, yeah, I love teenage drama and also hiding my identity while I fight monsters.
Yes.
There's a reason why there's so many of them.
Because it's so fucking cool. Right? That's genius. Do you have a name for us, Lisa? Who's running it?
Emma is the name of the GM.
Amazing. I do not know which Emma that is. If you are the Emma in the chat, please speak up. Otherwise, we will assume you are just the most perfect.
They've run games at other cons before, but they've not run a game at Conquest before. So
okay. That's exciting. I hope that rocks. Actually,
me too.
Yeah.
There's a few quirky, interesting ones that have been submitted this year, and trying to make sure that they all get in while trying to keep a good range of games is interesting.
And the thing that I found, and I don't know if this is still true, so feel free to correct me if it's not, but it's like there's like 24 super fascinating, really interesting explorations of the medium, and at the same time the majority of the player base is playing D&D or 40k. And
to some extent, but not as much as you'd think.
Okay. Like, D&D Adventurers Guild is running at Conquest. They always run pretty good games. If you are interested in D&D Adventurers Guild style games, they do good ones at Conquest. Right? But I always felt like I could see that at the local game shop. It was kind of a waste to go to a con for it. But that was, and I mean, like the 40k tournament at ArcanaCon was always actually the biggest numbers.
I
like
think
they would pull 200 and there'd be 150 at the rest of the con.
it's important to have some good solid D&D games at the conventions, particularly for someone's heard about this thing and they want to come and see what it is, and being able to guide them into something that's familiar, that they're going to recognize, is like that. There is a reason why we call D&D the gateway drug.
Right, and in LARP, Swordcraft does the same thing, right? Where it's the gateway to other games, and some people don't take that
I've
gateway.
never done Swordcraft.
Well, no, because you
Wasn't my
did
gateway.
Vampire. That's the older. It's like, you know. Oh, how did you get
Vampire
into
was
meth?
my gateway
well,
into
I
LARP,
was
actually.
I was looking for something softer than heroin. And like, there's two types of people. Sorry, Neva.
No, I mean that's exactly what I was going to say as well, which is like, it's the gateway for people who like that type of game.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, I went along to a Swordcraft maybe 12 years ago, and I was like, oh, this isn't for me. And like,
Yeah.
you know, and similar with D&D, I was like, oh, you know, this isn't so much for me. I've played D&D games that I've absolutely loved, but as a system, I tend to bounce off it a bit because it's a bit heavy. A lot of the time.
Legit.
Not always.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
like, there are some parts of those things. Fortitude, that is a terrible idea. I'm here for you, and I'm with you, but I have some horror stories around telling people you're going to play one system and then playing a different system. I told Neva
no.
one of them at lunch the other day. Anyway, also, Wraith is cursed. Now, but I'm here with it. Like, and the thing is that also those things are fucking sick, right? Like sports club with swords, that's awesome. We're here for it. Like creepy, let's just stalk around being personal horror people and never do anything but that. That's fucking sick. We're here for those parts of the hobby, and those things are great. It's not really what I want to talk about, and this is my stream, so you guys have to deal with that.
I genuinely thought you meant Blood Bowl when you said the rugby game.
Oh my god, I fucking love Blood Bowl.
And then that submitted to Conquest for a couple of years even.
Right.
I like Blood Bowl because it's one of the games where we've got a miniatures game that takes up less space.
Yeah.
You fit
it's
more people
small.
to the tables.
You paint 12 dudes, you're done forever. I played a LARP at a Conquest in 2002 where we played Blood Bowl LARP, and we had so many people taking photos. It was sick.
I heard about these.
And I will continue talking about Blood Bowl LARP forever until somebody else runs it. I will coach. But I think that there is like so much value in just going, actually, thank you, Talk to M. What a cutie. There are 4 absolute baddies in this frame. I'm here too. And like we can add but I think there's like D&D does a thing that, like, the problem with 40k or in fact Blood Bowl or War Machine or any of these systems, you turn up for the weekend tournament, you play the tournament, that's your entire weekend. It eats all of your brain power, and I say that as somebody who loves those games and who does those things. Whereas if you are going, actually, I'm going to sign up to Conquest so I can play this Adventurers League D&D game that I want to play, and that is 3 or 6 hours of my weekend. Oh shit, I'm at this place, a bunch of other stuff is happening. I can play more games.
That is one of the ideals, yes.
Does it work?
I also...
No, you go, Des.
I was just going to say, I've definitely found that even in my reasonably short tenure being a part of Conquest and organizing at Conquest, the amount of D&D we had has gone down quite a bit.
Has it?
Like, I would say, now you can absolutely correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, but I think last year we had Adventurers League and like maybe 1 or 2 other D&D sessions, if that.
Well, we have D&D Australia. So
Yeah.
we've got those. Then we've got sort of a couple of things that stand out as being interesting. We do get, like particularly this year, we've got D&D stuff that I'm not going to be accepting just because of this the amount of stuff that is submitted, and we don't want too much that's samey. But there's the amount of D&D compared to other things is quite low.
Fascinating. That's not usual though, right?
I think we're selecting for it, so it ends up that way.
Yeah. Right? It's like if you're running a convention, the games that happen at every local game store every week are not the ones that go to the convention.
Yeah. What we're getting more of now is bits and pieces of people who are writing their own systems to sell, and who are running demonstrations of those games, and where they're like the self-contained RPG in a box of cards type things. We're getting more of those.
Those are cool.
We're getting... This year we've got a surprising amount of games that are set in post-apocalyptic Australia. Like, there's a really significant Mad Max feel going on with the games that have been submitted this year. There's like, I'm gonna say like 8 of them.
To be fair, Australia is mighty in the post-apocalyptic scene, right?
But it's not a trend that I've seen in previous years. It's just interesting.
But that's new and exciting. I feel like we could write some PhDs about it. But like, we had Tank Girl, we had Mad Max. Those are the best post-apocalyptic films written. Kimirin's going to tell me about the author that who was the woman who wrote the books, young adults post-apocalyptic books that were actually fantasy books. Oh god, I've lost it. Anyway.
The John Marsden ones?
No, but they were also excellent. No, like they were much more fantasy. And it was a lady, and she kept writing series and stopped.
Oh, yes. I've read so many of those.
Isabel Carmody, thank you.
It's crazy the stuff she wrote as a 16-year-old.
Right. Isabel Carmody was brilliant and defined that post-apocalyptic, but actually it's fantasy, but actually it's post-apocalyptic genre. And thank you, Ridian. We are striving to discover who we are outside the settler colonial state construct by smashing it to pieces and examining the pieces. Look, that's strong. I also think that we are a post-apocalyptic country, like we're a country founded on an apocalypse. In a very real sense. My ancestors turning up in this country was an apocalypse for the people who were already there. And I think that because of stuff like that, and because of, like, as Fortitude's point, we're full of deserts, right? We are a thirst trap. That's all the hotties. But more to the point, this is a post-apocalyptic country, and it looks like one. We're good at it. Also, that one guy who directed both Mad Max and Happy Feet and Babe 2 Pig in the City, he's pretty good at directing.
Mad Max and Happy Feet?
Yeah! Yeah, Happy Feet.
I feel like separate genres.
Wrong. Same guy. Look up his filmography.
Yeah, I have to.
He is my favourite director because Babe 2 Pig in the City is a masterpiece. That's not why.
It's alright.
No, it's not alright. I will fight you.
Compared to Babe 2 in the City. I'm comparing it. I'm not looking at them separately. I'm comparing
them. No, you should. And again, you should continue to... George Miller. Oh my god. Neva, look at your giant orange cat.
My housemate's giant orange cat. He's a good giant orange cat.
I was very excited by Daz's giant white cat. We are... Happy Feet is brutal. Okay. we are basically out of time for the stream. What I would like to do is go around the circle, do a little bit of a closing. Also, we've gotten way off topic. It's clear that we're done. Let's go around the circle.
I've got a whole bunch of other games I could tell you about. But
Please do, Lisa. Tell us like 2 or 3 more games. Maybe one or two.
Just for the sake of making sure people know there is stuff they'd be interested in playing here. We have got some fairly high-profile systems being run. We've got some Daggerheart. We've got a couple of people who are running the Vampire the Masquerade things. Thank you very much, Meg, for being one of those. We've got some Shadowrun, which I'm excited about. We've got some of the GMs that you like to see at Conquest every year running the sort of stuff that they tend to run. Henry's running Call of Cthulhu, of course. And we've got Paddy's running a quite serious game compared to... I'm trying to get him to run Chasing Panthers, I think it was. But he keeps coming up with other concepts that are just crazy, thought-provoking things. It's like, fine, I will hold off on the Panthers again for another year.
Amazing.
Yes. It's running Ghost Ship.
Neva. Ghost Ship.
Yes. I'll just say the first line of the blurb is, "This is a story that begins long ago with your death."
Cool.
Okay, Plague sold.
Oh, that's good.
Daz sold. Neva sold.
I'm
Everyone's in.
only a little predictable.
Let's go.
So yeah, bunch of good stuff, which I am gradually getting them up on the Conquest website as we go.
Thank you,
so
Lisa.
there'll be
I'm sorry for
blurbs.
putting all this extra pressure on you.
Blurbs and details will be going up before the player sign-up information is available, because I've got access to that at the moment. So yeah, if people keep an eye on the Conquest website, yeah.
When players... So, currently you cannot buy tickets to come play at Conquest.
Not yet.
Is there a way that people can sign up to be notified when they can?
So there is a Discord channel would be sort of my recommendation, or if you want to hear about anything going on, if you're on the Discord, then you will immediately know about it as soon as anything goes up on the socials. There is also a Facebook event that people can join just for the reminder to put in their calendar that it's a thing.
The other thing is that volunteer sign-ups are open at the moment. So if you're interested in being a volunteer and working really closely with me in the lead up to the con and during the con, please sign up to be a volunteer. It's all pretty easy work. But, Lisa and I are volunteers. Everything's run by volunteers. And you play for free as many sessions as you volunteer. So we would love your help.
If you don't do it, then Daz and Lisa have to do all the work by themselves.
And then you get no thirsty sword lesbians.
Oh, boo!
Or vampires.
Or vampires. We have to make everybody go and do that stuff.
Sometimes both at the same time.
I have put the
Preferably
Conquest
both at the same
link. I've put the Conquest link in the chat. I will put the Discord link in the chat as well.
Everything can be got at from the website. The website, honestly, I'm getting... We've got a new member of the organisation team who's going to be helping me get that a bit fixed up between this convention and the next one, so that it'll be a little bit faster to load and a bit tidier, but it has all of the important things.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And let's go around. If I wanted to see more of you personally, where would I do it, Neva?
So, I've got a public Instagram, I guess. It's at gfg.performer. And
GFG.
I don't know, I may as well plug my band, which is at Enzo Band. So EN_ZO. And that's, I don't know. I just turn up and play games at places and I enjoy it.
Amazing. Daz?
come find me in the volunteer section of the Discord server.
Which you can get to by becoming a volunteer.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect way to spend your afternoon, evening, weekend.
Legit, though, definitely. Like, non-ironically, it's a great time.
You spend a lot of volunteering time is free time where you sit and chat with people who are so deeply interesting and also so involved in the TTRPG/LARP scene. I cannot recommend it more highly.
Amazing. I would like to interrupt. I know Plague's all set to do their thing, but Fee just texted me to say that she met Isabel Carmody at a writers' festival and will run Min Min for me one day, and I would like to brag about that. And now, Plague, tell us.
Hi.
Yeah, like, you've got a fucking sick ass Twitch thing.
So I have a link tree that I can pop.
Oh, full link tree.
Yeah.
Put it in.
Yeah, I have a business card too, Josie.
Oh,
Have you seen I'll show you later.
Please
So,
do. No, show me now.
Okay, hang on. Oh my gosh. I gotta go find a folder where I've put my business cards.
Sorry, you don't have to show me.
You don't
now.
have
You
one
can
in
show
your pocket? You can
show
just
me
bring up the
5
camera?
minutes
No,
from
I
now.
don't. I don't carry them unless I'm doing anything related to tabletop stuff. I'm Plague Maiden. I am also
Thank you, Kimmerin, for
player.
posting the link tree.
Thank you.
Sorry, go on.
I do a lot of player stuff at the moment. You can find me as a player on a Candela Obscura stream over at Hexes and Vexes. It's very fun. We've only just had session 1.
It was deeply entertaining.
Reason about. Did you watch?
I did. It was so good.
I had so much
really
fun. Oh my
enjoyed
gosh. Where else? I coordinate. I do a whole bunch of stuff, guys. I'm all over. I don't have free time.
Amazing. Go and check out Plague's Linktree. Lisa?
Yep, so at the convention, you'll typically find me at the info desk, where you can come and ask me questions, or reach out to us on the Conquest Discord, obviously, ask anything there. Other than that, I'm usually at most events that are run by Caligo Mundi, and pretty soon I will be launching the spiritual successor to the board game cruise, which has previously been something that I was running with Tina from a little board game shop in Sydney. But yeah, I am running Tabletop Game Cruise Australia, the first one of which will be happening in 2027. I will... Okay, I'm getting some stunned faces here. That's good. That's a great sign. Tabletopgamecruise.au is the website that I have. I'm currently working on getting a mascot designed up, which is going to be a leafy sea dragon, and it's going to be amazing as soon as I can get the artist to actually finish the designs for me.
That's so cool.
Hang on. Sorry, spell for us.
Tabletopgamecruise.au.
Game Cruise, all one word?
Yep.
.au.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody click that shit, right?
Immediately.
Oh my god. Sorry, stop talking. No.
There's information about what it is, but the inaugural cruise hasn't been picked out yet. I'm currently waiting for the 2027-2028 cruise itineraries to be released by Royal Caribbean, and then there will be information and things. It'll be great.
Guys,
I've always wanted to go on a cruise. This is really cool.
I've never wanted to go on a cruise except now. Now I really do.
Yep.
Have a look at this. Oh, that's all just like...
I'm glad I mentioned it now.
You should be glad you mentioned it now. Holy shit. There's a whole 15 people who've never heard of this who will now look at it. Neva.
Yeah, but
You should play 7th Sea and Nikki's game.
Yes.
You should play 7th Sea and Nikki's game. Thank you. Okay. Back. I've stopped being distracted now. Thank you. Everyone should sign up for those things. And also, if you are not currently on the waitlist for Deadline and for Fields of Honor, the Deadline Chronicles and Fields of Honor, you should be. If you're not currently subscribed to this channel, you should be. Oh my god. Yes, Spire on a Boat. Yes, Spire on a Boat. Yes, Razzle Dazzle DJ.
If I can kidnap Will, then we'll make it happen.
I just realised whose Showdown in the chat is the same Showdown from certain streams, and now I'm very afraid.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
It just happened. Just now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit.
I told you I would bring people.
You did, and now not that. Okay, anyway. I enjoyed your character very much, Showdown. But also, let's move on. So, this is delightful. I'm excited. Conquest is super great. I have done all my call to actions. I've done all of my wrap up. So, 1 or 2 sentences to wrap up from each person, and then we're going to call it Neva.
I'm so excited for Conquest this year. I am not sure how I'm going to survive playing literally every single slot, because that's what I'm gonna have to fucking do. Because it looks so good. And thank you so much for having me here to nerd out and chat about just how much I love playing these things.
You've been great. Thank you. Daz.
It's been awesome to talk to some people who aren't orcs about Conquest for a little bit. I think we get a little bit stuck in the weeds sometimes, and it's always really good to remember that there are actual people we're doing this for who love this convention. Hang
on, can I pause on that for a moment?
Of course.
Because just to address some of my critics in the critical field who are like, hang on, why are you bringing people onto the thing that aren't experts or aren't orgs or aren't people who are the most important people in the system? And that's why. Because I think that everybody who makes art makes it for audience, and if we don't include audience in the criticism, then we are wasting our time.
Very beautiful.
Anyway, thank you, Daz, for giving me that opportunity to spit wanky philosophy at everyone. Carry on.
So I'm super excited to have people come and be disaster gays and also have profound conversations with a Miku statue version of Mitt Romney.
Every Miku is canon.
Exactly. Miku Romney is canon. Like, fight me about it. Oh, I'm also an NPC in this game that you can interact with also. So I wish you good luck in finding him. Anyway.
Amazing.
Looking forward to seeing that chaos.
That is
Thank
the
you so
best. The best wrap up ever. Thank you. Plake. Follow that.
Oh. Geez. No pressure. Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been super fun. I am very excited to run my game at Conquest, and I'm, I guess, seeing if anyone can top Shodan's character snorting the prince's ashes. He gave me permission to tell people about that, so...
We'll regret it forever.
Thank you, Shodan, for that behaviour. We will all judge you. Every single one of us. Forever. Thank you. Lisa?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me talk about this crazy thing that we're doing and my favourite parts of it. I thank everybody for putting up with whatever crazy problems we end up finding, having a brand new registration system. They will exist, we will do our best with it, and can only move onwards and upwards. I look forward to seeing everybody at Easter.
Hell yeah.
Who can make it, who does not have health issues that sadly prevent them from getting there.
I know. Like, I am extremely likely to miss Conquest because I have a penciled in surgery date on the Friday. But the this is a kick-ass convention. It's following on a tradition of kick-ass conventions, and we're all really excited for it. So, thanks everyone for tuning in to the stream. Love you all. And we
Thanks
are
so much.
going to be out. Look. Why are we talking about Miku? No. I'm not getting distracted by Riku Romney. Miku Romney at this time.
He's essential.
Is he? Okay.
He was the character that gave the really goofy one that gave this poor person this whole meltdown in character. It was great.
Amazing. Okay. Anyway, we out.